That curve are going up.
From where you can see going up, where you can't see it's forever going up. You gotta go up.
All the way up to the base hill.
To get out.
It's one hill all the way up.
And when you get on top, where I used to work with doing the cement and the bridge and what's not, is a little flat, and then you got more hill. So I tell you the first week, I tell you don't let it cry, because I gotta go home and halfway stop 5-6 times and like, this ain't right, boy, this ain't right.
You literally cried tears?
Tears kind of my eyes, because when I gotta get home, I can't stop down here 4 and 5 hours from the bus just to get at the top.
This is after you finish working?
Yeah.
And you cried?
Yeah,
tears?
because you gotta walk home. But I only cried for like a week.
Yeah.
After that, it come now. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even my supervisor, like, how you get this, dude? I tell you, boy, right now, I get accustomed.
Right. So they should really at least provide some kind of transportation, bathroom, water facility, all of that.
You all see why I was crying when I got home. When the young man looked at me and told me that he cried as he had to walk home, work so hard till his clothes wet on him, and then, having to walk home, and he walked there. And then they say that they're lazy, and they don't want any work. I remember before you guys jump in, I remember speaking to some young men who in the Nelson Street area, Wellington Street, and they said, the guy got so angry, a group of them, he said, you see that hotel they want to build over there, that's the Hyatt. He said, they expect that we're going to build it for little and nothing, and we're not working for that. We're not slaves. That's what and they were so passionate, they were so angry about it that they pay them less than everybody else.
But Marcia, but the type of conditions that they are asked to work under, and then getting to and from work. I was hoping that you would go to the base of the hill and give me a shot of that, how steep that hill is.
I thought of it, but the time, we were so tired, we would have been mashed up.
So I can understand you're working hard with Gabions, and then you have to climb go up those type of conditions to get home. And then you don't want to pay the men their worth. They got to be crazy. This was a lesson tonight.
Donnie Callender saying, when my mother used to pack Gabions years ago, she used to freeze water from the night before, but at least the MTW used to carry them home. No bathroom either. From way back then, from Donnie's mother used to do it. A woman, the only woman among this is wrong. This is slavery, man.
The conversation with Mr. Gill and even with these guys, I just was looking for something I had seen a while back, and I think I found it. It's a letter to the editor published in the Daily Nation, Thursday, December 14th, 2023. And it was titled Risk of Foreign Experts. When the decision was made to farm out the repairs, construction, and rehabilitation of roads and bridges in the Finicky, Scotland district to an Eastern construction company, many of us thought that these foreign experts were bringing to the table skills and experiences which the Arvis Construction Company, engineers, technicians, and artisans of Barbados did not possess. But after seeing the collapse of a construction site while work was still in progress at this heavy downpour of a typical Scotland district rainfall, we must sit up and ponder. Sometime in the early 1950s, a road in Chimborazo, St. Joseph, aptly known as the Breakaway, for the umpteenth time had collapsed, and the then Highways and Transport took to the task of providing a permanent fix to the perennial problem. That was in 1953. Today, 70 years later, that repair job has stood the test of time and is a tribute to the engineers, artisans, and laborers involved in the repair work. And a similar story could be repeated in the Joes River Bridge, the one at the top of East Coast Road. Built on a riverbed and opened in 1954, it took a maximum gross vehicle weight of 9 tons. This bridge for almost half a century has been constantly taking 20 to 30 tons of trucks coming out of the sand hole. So again, the youngsters know what they're talking about, right? They absolutely know what they're talking about. That the work that was done in the past stood the test of the time, and they just gave us practical experiences where the Chinese didn't know how to do the work and came for them to teach somebody else.
Yes, Adrian, because I saw today, even up to today, I saw a business posting an ad in the paper that we have not found suitable qualified persons for a particular job, and that has to stop. There are people here. How can you post those things? And some of the jobs, you can't believe that there are no Barbadians suitably qualified for some of them.
You hold that thought there, guys. Mr. Gill is on because we are at 9:59. So, Mr. Gill, this is just really a 2 minutes comment to wrap up. Okay.
That's no problem.
Yes, go right ahead, Mr. Gill.
Marcia, unemployment is so right among our young people, our young men. A day doesn't go by that somebody doesn't try contacting me, asking me if there's any work out there. Not too long ago, I was at the gas station. I went to get some money changed up so that I could pay somebody who were doing some work for me. And the guy heard me speaking with the cashier, and he called me aside. He asked me I could get some of that work. I said, no, it's only 2 people working for me. You know, he said, but whenever, if any of them, let me know. You can take my number. It has reached a critical point. And within no beliefs, if you don't get money to pay your bills, you find some alternative way of getting it. You see? And that skill is a special skill. I look at those as the space in between the rocks that allows water to drift through, you know, and flow at an orderly rate. It doesn't gush out. No one set of blocks is laid vertically with the one underneath it. It is stepped back and you step back. So that if you get a vertical pressure coming down, no one column bears that pressure. If you get a lateral pressure coming across or force, no one horizontal, like what you call a lentil beam, no one beam will carry it. It is master engineering. And no matter how much money the contractors got, no matter how much money is loaned to you, and you don't get that part of the construction right, you've gone to a thing of naught. You're back down to zero. And those boys, they should be moving through the Caribbean doing Gabion work. The same contractors that move from Nicaragua up to, they should be carrying them with them and be paid a decent pay. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, you don't have to be an engineer to demand a decent pay. But this should be a grounds on which the young people should vote. Because the IMF tells you, the first prescription the IMF gives you when you go into a country, it used to be devaluation, but they see that falls too much from, is cut the workforce. Cut it. And you've got to cut it, whether it's B or D, cut it. And I was reading a paper there about an economist in Argentina, and they said that a few years ago, Argentina did not get back to the level of employment which they had in the 80s when they had that recession in South America, when the investors left Latin American countries and went down into the Pacific for greener pastures. So you don't ever get back to that level of employment. That is one. The next thing they do, because listen, what they're doing, they're looking to see that they do not have to pay a high pension bill down the road. They see the national insurance as sucking money out of the economy because they're ultra capitalists. They don't think that there's anything called any national insurance. Go and get your own insurance. The next thing they do is they say privatize, because once you privatize, this is another way of taking employment out of government's hands. So when they say privatize, they want to privatize hospitals, they want to privatize jails, they want to privatize transport system, they want to privatize everything. So don't be surprised how you see the government is rushing to get all these things privatized before every industry they want to privatize, because they don't want to have to pay weekly and monthly wages. The first thing the IMF said is that our pension scheme was too generous. Oh, the next thing, they want to privatize garbage. Take some time out and Google the two men, and I always refer to them, who won the Nobel Peace Prize of either 9 to 12 years ago. He was Hart and Holman. When at the end of the day you have not delivered as good a service as previously, then it has not worked. But the thing about it is, the governments promised them, we want this thing off our hands and we are going to incentivize you. And those fellas they work towards those incentives, and they are the ones who are gaining. The other thing they say is, it is not what is in the contract, but what is not in the contract that matters. Those fellas won the Nobel Peace Prize for the economics of contract. And they show you where jails went belly up, care systems went belly up. And we have to follow the prescription because we have not devalued. This privatization of the bus service, it has to go through. And the Chinese know it, because they have worked alongside all those governments in South America and Latin America. And they see them go belly up. the IMF is referred to as the last lender of resort assets, but you've got to give the IMF their money.
Money, right.
Got to get the money back for them.